which is The Conjuring 3. Now, I've
Yeah,
seen this movie, I think, yesterday, and I'm a big fan of the Conjuring universe, and I've loved almost all of the movies, except The Nun. The Nun was not good. But yeah, I've seen this movie yesterday, and it was, I would, yeah,
different.
I mean, it was good. But I don't think it's better than one and two. I also think that look, you can feel that James Wan wasn't directing, and although there are some really cool characters in this one as well, I mean new characters in this universe, and some really good makeup and CGI to make it scary. There are some really good scenes. There are a lot of the Exorcist, homages, even visually and as well as thematically, and some scenes like straight up are full on The Exorcist. But the thing I thought was missing with this movie was that you don't feel like okay, there are two things, right? First thing, I think the most important one, you don't feel the atmosphere that you felt from the first two movies. Um, there's no single house, thing here. There's multiple locations, so the atmosphere keeps changing. Um, it's kind of a different thing from the previous two movies. I don't know how exactly to describe it, but it just lacked that atmospheric feeling that you got from watching the first two movies, which was absent from this one. If this one felt more modern, I guess, and a bit different from the other two movies. And also,
Yeah, but he wasn't trying to copy what
yeah,
James Wan did
and
either.
also, of course, why would he? He's a different director, and he probably got brought his own style. Also, this director directed the Curse of La Llorona movie, so that I liked that pretty. That was pretty
Yeah,
good, and he directed this one, so he definitely makes different kinds of movies from what's already existing. So did David Sandberg, to be honest. But then the second thing that I thought was missing was the overall connection to the universe. There's very subtle nods to the other characters or stuff that happens in the universe. So that's also I think was lacking. Um, there's basically no cameos from other characters. And one thing that I found funny was so the the Warrens go to a person. I think it was a medical person or something, and then he would no the police person, and then he wasn't believing them, right? No, actually, they go to a lawyer. Yeah, I remember they go to a lawyer, and of course the lawyer wouldn't believe them, and they were trying to propose that the devil may do a thing, right? So they wanted to prove in a court of law that exorcism exists, but obviously the lawyer wasn't buying it. So there was this line Ed says that well, we'll show you our room, and we'll let you meet with Annabelle. And then I was like, yeah. After that, you'll definitely believe. And I was like, that was a cool thing to put in there. But apart from very vague stuff like that, there's really no um there's not even enough here to set up other stuff. Like it was totally like a solo movie, and I think that was lacking. But overall, I did like it. It was good. The focus was the in the last movie the focus was mainly on Ed. In this one, it's on Lorraine, and I think she is brilliant as usual. She carries the movie, and her performance in being scared of something that isn't there is her face is just is it's amazing to watch, and her performance is awesome. So I did like the movie, and in the end something happens that just delighted me, and I don't want to spoil it. It's something very minor, but I enjoy that. So yeah, that's what I thought about the movie. You saw the movie. What did you think?
Yes, this is directed by Michael Chavez, who did The Curse of La Lorena, the other Conjuring movie. That did pretty well. I don't think it's the most well received of the Conjuring films, universe films either. But yeah, he was coming in and he was taking over for James Wan, who knocked it out of the park for one and two. Now, I just recently watched The Conjuring one and two for the first time because, as I told you, I'm not big into like horror movies. So this wouldn't be movies that I would go to cinema to see. As a must see movie, you know. I went to go see this because cinemas were back open and stuff like that. But yeah, you like you're missing the directing style of James Wan, especially the one shot stuff in the house, because he's a master at that. And it reminded me like of M Night Shyamalan when in The Servant. A lot of directing style there from the directors in that series, you know. But this is based on a true story, which actually happened. Now you could say about Conjuring one and two are based on true stories as well, but like you have to believe in ghosts or in demons to believe those
Yeah,
movies, you know, because they're in a haunted house. But this one was actually about a real murder trial that happened in 1981 in Connecticut. Where's it called? Connecticut, I think. Yeah, sorry. So Arnie Johnson kills somebody, and they ask him, "Why did you do it?" And he goes, "The
yeah,
devil made me do it." And that this is actually a trial that happened, and it was called "The Devil Made Me Do It" trial, where their defense of this Arnie Johnson was that he was possessed by a demon. And so the Warrens have to go and gather enough evidence to present to a courtroom to convince them that he was under the possession of a devil, of a demon, so he wouldn't get much jail time. You know? So this has actually happened. And I will say I was disappointed. We don't get to see much of the trial or how they convinced the jury and the judge that
that's
this
true.
guy, even though he murdered someone, uh, doesn't I'm not going to say if he gets jail time or not, but how did they present it to him, to the judge and jury? This guy doesn't deserve it. They never showed that, which I was disappointed in. You could make an entire movie just based on that. You could make a mini series just based on that. I think
Yeah,
it'd be very interesting. But it focused more on the demons and why this guy was possessed and stuff like that. And I thought it was an interesting story because the other two aren't really stories. They're more of paranormal activity, kind of, oh my god, like there's scares and stuff like that. Which the first two are really scary. You know, I'm not big into that kind of stuff, but
yeah,
they are pretty weird. And I think James Wan did an amazing job. But I like this director. He didn't decide to copy James
yeah,
Wan. He decided to do his own thing. Okay, I'm going to bring the Warrens on the road where they have to go to different places and uh, discover kind of signs of where this demon originated from and how it became
yeah.
taking people over. So I like that. I think some of the music was pretty good as well. Some 80s music, or no, yeah, 80s music, pretty good. And the chemistry between Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson is insane, you know. But as you see, universe, because remember in the first one there was Annabelle spin-off movie.
Yeah.
There's like three Annabelle movies, or two or three, and in number two, The Nun. Then there was a Nun movie.
Yeah.
In this one, there's nobody to make a spin-off movie about,
The second movie actually
and
had a lot of characters. Like, there was that tall walking thing, and then
yeah,
there were a couple of characters that we still don't have any news on.
yeah. But this one didn't have any of that. Now maybe it was because this is more of a grounded true story. You know, this is actually a case where you can go and you can
All of
study the
them are
case and the
based on true story, Mar.
I know, but like if
Don't break
either
my
you either believe
reality.
in this stuff, yeah, but you either believe in this stuff or you
Yeah,
don't. But you can't not believe in the murder trial because that
yeah,
actually happened. You know, there's actually evidence of that happening. That's what I'm going to say. Maybe that's why. But it was some nice little Easter eggs towards the Exorcist film. Especially, I think you have it up on the screen a second ago where the priest steps out of the cab
yeah,
and he's looking at the house. That's Exorcist. There's also a reference to The Shining, which I won't spoil,
yeah.
which happened in the third act. I love you, God. Pretty cool. I love that. And yeah, look, it's not the best of the trilogy, but it's not like a terrible film. It's a fine film. The performances are insane. Some of the scary monsters in it are weird. Especially, I'll just say one thing: a dead body. That was weird, you
I
know.
thought the thing
And
with the kid was very well done. His makeup was very well done, and The way it was twisting his body and stuff, that was also very well done.
Yeah, the opening scene is actually pretty hectic.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah, it was
it's
very
like
intense.
James Wan, like James Wan did that, and that was kind of passing off to Michael
Yeah,
Chavez. Like that was Michael Chavez's kind of thank you to James Wan. Now I'm going to go and do my own thing. So I it doesn't feel like it's expanding the universe, but it doesn't feel like it's the end of it either. It's like we could get more, which we will because these movies are insanely profitable,
yeah, it's a
and the
cinematic
chemistry
universe
between
at this
Patrick
point.
Wilson, yeah, yeah, oh, it is, and the chemistry between Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as the Warrens. You can do more movies, and I think they will, and I hope they do because they're perfect. They're perfect together.
The
So yeah,
these two are
yeah,
characters that I don't want them to ever kill off. Like maybe in the 10th movie or
yeah.
something. But like
Well,
every movie they
in real
carry it.
life, yeah, in real life, I think well, they're not alive anymore, but Vera Farmiga, the character,
Lorraine.
she only died. Yeah, she only died a few years ago. I think her
Yeah.
husband died in 2006 or something like that. So they did survive all this stuff, but maybe that had some implications on them when they got older because I think she had dementia and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they could play up a storyline of that, but it'll be respectful. But yeah, it's yeah, it was a fine film.
NWB has had good relations with them, and they own all the tapes and recordings, so they can definitely go on like for another 10 movies probably.